a dismissal from Everton. Rafa Benitez, the Rafa project has not played out the way that the ownership thought it might. And if anything, it left on a pretty sour note with chance of Rafa get out of our club when they lost to Norwich City on the weekend. Where did it go wrong? Which is a very big question, but I think if anyone can succinctly draw that down, it's you. Because look, he managed 22 games over his time on the blue side of Merseyside and only won 7. So not a very good return on investment there. What went wrong for Rafa?
You're acting like this is a failure. I'm saying Operation Agent Rafa mission is successful. You know, he comes in, he nearly gets Everton relegated. He sells Lucadinha to Stevie G, and then he F's off. You know, Operation Agent Rafa complete. No, I think actually that suspicion of Rafael Benitez from Everton fans, you know, he said in his own statement that not only did they have to try and win games, they also had to win hearts and minds. And Rafael Benitez's football doesn't often do that. So, you know, they were suspicious of him as a former Liverpool legend who won the Champions League there, and, you know, going to the rival club. Is he really here for our best interests? And Everton is a very emotional club. You know, it's a club that can turn on a manager very, very quickly. It can get quite poisonous there. So, you know, if you're playing pragmatic football and you're losing, there's not much there for people to latch onto. You know, if you're losing games, but they can see signs that you're trying to construct something that will benefit the club long term, then maybe you can keep fans on side if you're playing attractive stuff. But pragmatism has to come with results. Otherwise, it's just crap. So, you know, I think this was pretty predictable from the way Everton's been run in the past few years. They've got Mashiri in charge, who has a lot of money, but he clearly does not know how to spend it. You know, their transfers have been a disgrace. They've changed managers all the time. You know, Martinez, Marco Silva, Koeman, going through all these coaches, Carlo Ancelotti, like, you know, they've made a lot of bad decisions there, and they've sacked the director of football, put Rafa Benitez in charge, and then sacked him a couple of months later. So, you know, it's just shambolic. And if the fans want to direct their anger somewhere, it should be at the ownership. It should be at Mashiri for just plunging this club into disarray. And I think the only way to win the fans back is to bring big Duncan Ferguson in as the interim manager and lean into the emotion of the whole thing. Even if that's not the right decision for the club to try and avoid relegation, that's what the fans will latch onto. Everton legend. He knows the club. Like, this is the backwards way that Everton operates.
And I mean, it's interesting that you brought that up, because, you know, as a Manchester United fan, when they brought Ollie in, it was that reversion to the emotion of the old days of like someone that knew the club. And obviously now we know, you know, a few seasons down the road that that's not a sustainable model. But another name that's been thrown up is whether Wayne Rooney might come and take charge and leave his Derby County rescue project behind and take over at Everton. Apart from, you know, legendary names that feel and fuel the emotion of that football club, who are some realistic targets that could come in and make it work?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I look at the odds for the replacement managers, and I just shake my head at all of them. Like Wayne Rooney, sample size too small. We don't know that he's a good coach. He's only being mentioned because he's a former Everton player. And that was the same logic that brought Frank Lampard from Derby County to Chelsea. So I've even seen Frank Lampard mentioned in the conversation for this job. I don't know why. Like, he was atrocious at Chelsea. So, you know, he just continually blamed the players for everything that went wrong, which is not a great like media strategy. Every question, you know, why did you underperform today? That's one for the players. Like, you know, just take some responsibility. Roberto Martinez is actually the bookies' favorite to come back from coaching Belgium.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah,
take Everton. I don't know if he's the man for a relegation scrap. His teams tended to be quite attractive to watch, but also concede every goal off set pieces and never be able to remedy that. It was the classic case with Wigan where they won the FA Cup and they got relegated in the same season.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's a good manager if you maybe want to get your team from mid-table mediocrity into the Europa League. But I don't know if your team is 16th in January, is he the man to bring in? I'm not sure. So I really don't have a good answer to this, unfortunately. They might have to resort to one of the classic firefighting English specialists.
Sammy Aladici.
Well, they've already had him. So, you know, I even forgot about him when I was listing former Everton managers. So it's weird. What the fans want and what the club wants seem to be different. And it's just a messy situation. I honestly think give it big Dunk Ferguson till the end of the season.